This episode is part 2 of a two-parter Family Guy special. In part 1, Stewie kills Lois, but Peter gets blamed and goes to court. We then find out Lois didn't actually die. This episode begins with Lois explaining what really happened. Stewie shot her up while on the cruise ship, but when she fell into the water, a merman saved her and carried her to safety. After rejecting him because he was ugly, she begins walking and ends up in North Carolina but is suffering from amnesia. In North Carolina, she got a job at a summer camp for fat kids. Her job at the camp was to prevent the kids from eating each other. As time went on, she developed a relationship with a guy from town. He ends up introducing her to his friends, but their Lois finds out he's a white supremacist. While she was with the white supremacist, Lois says something dumb, and one of the members throws a bottle at her head. This bottle to her head causes her memory to come back. When her memory came back, she returned back to Peter and her family to set the record straight. Joe chimes in and says so what she's saying is they have a homicidal baby problem, but Chris interrupts to let them know that Stewie left. Joe begins going door to door looking for Stewie, and we find out Consuela is the maid for Superman. Back at the Griffin's home, as they're going inside, they are surprised by Stewie with a gun. Peter asks him how long has he been messed up and evil for. Joe knocks at the door asking if everything's okay, but Stewie puts a gun to Brian's head and tells him to tell Joe everything is good. After Joe leaves, Stewie continues to torment the Griffins.
Wait a minute. You could have drugged this. Well, I'm no fool. Brian, taste this.
What?
Go on, taste it. You're the guinea pig.
Lois, he's got a gun.
Look, I'll do it myself. How about that?
I don't know. He kind of asked me. I mean, I think we should do what he says.
Well, yeah,
I'm
Brian,
totally willing to do this for the family.
I'm not sure.
I'll do it.
Cleveland then walks in and Stewie gets surprised, so he shoots and kills him. Stewie then ties up the Griffins, but takes Brian hostage. He forces Brian to drive him away. As they're driving, Brian tells him he's not going to get away with it, but Stewie is sure he will get away with it. Stewie then reveals he's actually auditioned for American Idol. In a cutscene, we see Stewie failed at his audition. Back at the Griffin's house, the family is still tied up, but it's then revealed Chris' hands weren't even tied up this entire time. We then cut to Stewie and Brian on the road. Stewie is falling asleep and accidentally begins shooting inside the car, which leads to Brian crashing. Meanwhile, the Griffins are in Stewie's room looking for a clue on where he went, but they end up finding his lair.
Look at all this cool stuff.
We then see Brian and Stewie arrive to the CIA headquarters. They go inside searching for something and Stewie finally finds it. It's revealed Stewie wants to take command of the satellites that control the world's power grid. Once they're in Stewie's control, the entire world will be subject to whatever Stewie desires. 2 CIA agents break into the room, but they're too late since Stewie is successful with his plan. We see the world's power go off, and we get this funny scene about Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise.
I love you, Katie.
I love you too, Tom. Oh my God! I'm free! The force field is down! Go, now!
Stewie forces the CIA agents to do exactly what he says, if not he will destroy the world. They agree and Stewie becomes the new president. Everyone sees Stewie is the new president and is shocked. While Stewie is in the White House, he's making new laws and has Brian oversee them. Stewie then goes on air and says all new laws will go in effect immediately. He also says that anyone that sees Peter Griffin has to throw apples at him. Back at home, Lois says enough is enough, and she won't allow for other people to suffer at the hand of her baby. She then says it's time for her to take him out. Lois goes into Stewie's lair and suits up with gear and weapons.
All right, Peter, I'm going to kill Stewie. Dinner's in the oven. All you have to do is turn it to 350 at about 5:15.
Yeah, okay, Lois.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
What did I just say?
Turn the oven to 350 at 5:15. I heard it.
Stewie is in the Oval Office getting a presidential portrait when Lois then bursts in. It begins going down between the two as Lois starts shooting at Stewie, but he manages to dodge the bullets. The battle between the two continues as neither of them gives up, but Lois finally gets the up on Stewie and points a shotgun to his face. Stewie tells her to pull the trigger, but Lois can't do it. She says Stewie is an evil child, but she can never hurt him. Stewie uses this to his advantage and ups it on Lois and is about to kill her, but Peter shoots and kills Stewie. We then see the words simulation over pop up on the screen. The whole thing was a simulation. Stewie was running to see how killing Lois and taking over the world would play out for him. Stewie comes to the realization that he's not ready to kill Lois or take over the world, at least not ready yet. Before the episode ends, they poke fun at the fact that the entire thing wasn't real. Since most audiences of movies and shows hate when an ending is just that the whole thing was a dream or fake, Brian says, isn't this like a middle finger to their audience once they see neither part 1 or part 2 is real? Stewie says hopefully people would have enjoyed the ride. I'm not gonna lie, the ending was pretty stupid, but I also knew they weren't going to have Stewie get killed. Regardless of the ending, the 2 parts were great. We constantly kept seeing Stewie hating Lois, so it was fresh to see Lois now hating Stewie and wanting him dead. Cleveland dying was kinda sad, so I guess that's the only good thing about it being a simulation. The small crossover with American Dad by Stan being one of the CIA agents trying to stop Stewie was also good. It would have sucked if they went to the CIA headquarters and not had Stan appear. Let me know if the ending ruined it for you, or can you put that aside and still watch?